everybody. Charles Cook here, founding partner of Cook Baxter. Great to be with you today. Hopefully the power won't go out today. We had a power outage this morning, suddenly, for no reason, in the middle of a beautiful day here in Atlanta. But today we've got a lot to talk about, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions about what's going on immigration. But we have to start with the probably the biggest news today, because it came out yesterday. And I got to tell you, folks, this is nuts. So as an American, sorry, my phone's ringing. As an American, if I want to, or as a U.S. citizen, because there's many Americans, as a United States citizen, if I want to go to France, or I want to go to England, or I want to go to Australia, I just basically get on an airplane. I mean, there's a couple things I got to do now, but just get on an airplane, and I just go. All right, that's called visa-free travel. Well, there are certain countries that have that to the United States, but several years ago, many years ago now, since 2010 or something like that, we make folks who want to come here go online and fill out a form. It's called ESTA, E-S-T-A. And basically it's visa-free travel as long as you're approved before you come. You used to just get on the plane and come, and if you're from these countries, it was called visa waiver, and you would just get stamped when you came in. But now you do this beforehand. Well, yesterday, the Trump administration announced that as part of ESTA, all future travelers will have to provide a lot more information. Now, for the last 9 years, they've asked for social media information, but it wasn't required. Now you must provide all your social media handles and accounts that you've used for the last 5 years, including your emails for the last 5 years, all your addresses for the last 5 years, and the names and addresses, get this, the names and addresses of your family, of your direct family, actually. Names and address of your direct family. Let's see exactly what this says in their publication yesterday. Here's what they want to see. A list of social media, email address for the last decade, the names, birthplaces, places of residence, and birth dates of your parents, your spouses, I guess your spouse, unless you have more than one spouse, and siblings and children. So what they're doing is gathering an enormous amount of information that they don't need to let you come as a visitor to the United States. And if you say, you know what, screw it, I won't come to America, that's what a lot of people are going to do. This is another reason why people won't come to the United States. Now, I don't know if that will ever, if there's a new president that comes in that has a better understanding of how the world works, they'll do away with that requirement. But in the meantime, if you want to come here, basically after next month, when this rule goes into effect, you're going to have to fill all this information out and provide all this information about your siblings, their names, their birth dates, their addresses. I mean, heck, some of us don't even know where our siblings live. I mean, I know where mine live, but there are people who don't know where their siblings live. This is crazy. I'll be talking later today on Australian television about this, but this is simply an invitation to not come to the United States. Why would you give this information to them? You know, I probably wouldn't. I'll just go to Canada if I wanted to come to this hemisphere. Go to Peru, which is always great. So that's the first thing. The new ESTA visa requirement. Kind of crazy, right? Now, the other thing I want to talk about right up front is our new lawsuit that we'll be putting together this early next week on the USCIS announced work stoppage. Well, basically, late last week, the Trump administration announced, the USCIS announced in the Trump administration, that they're simply going to stop work and not adjudicate any cases for individuals from one of the 19 countries on their list. And, you know, the usual suspects that Trump hates, right? Countries that aren't white or are Muslim. That's what he's going to go after. And this has impacted people directly. They were literally pulled out of line as they were going to their swearing in for his citizenship. Now, understand, this is illegal. The USCIS cannot take your money and then refuse to work and adjudicate your case. That is illegal. It is against the law. There's a law called the Administrative Procedures Act, which requires government agencies to act on all their cases in a reasonable period of time. Refusing to act, and they'll say, well, we're doing additional security checks. What you didn't do before? What exactly are you doing that you weren't doing before? Nothing. They're just using this as an excuse not to admit legal immigrants. That's what they're doing. And obviously, if they got away with this, these cases would just stack up for the next administration to deal with that had some sense of responsibility and some sense of honor, which, of course, this administration does not have in any scope of the imagination. So we'll be filing a lawsuit. When I say we, I'm referring to our folks at Immigration Impact Litigation. You can go to immigrationimpact.com, and we'll have an intake for anybody from any of these 19 countries whose work is stopped for whatever reason. I mean, we have already been contacted by a number of folks from Iran with pending green card applications or pending visa applications, of any work permits. They're refusing to do renewals of green cards, which they have a legal obligation to do. They're legally required to give you proof of your status. They can't not give it to you. So this is obviously way beyond the pale. This is clearly an administration out of control, which is why the next election is so vitally important, to begin having hearings and holding these people accountable for what are illegal actions. This is illegal. Now, you could say that on Twitter, which I do, and I get all this hate mail from all these white nationalist blowhards who hide their identity. They're all afraid of the people knowing who they are, right? Because that's why they all use fake names on Twitter, right? And most of them are from Russia anyway. But in reality, most Americans are offended by the fact that our government is basically taking money to do nothing. Now, some people will jokingly say, well, they do it all the time. Well, they don't. In immigration, they do adjudicate cases. They might take a while, but they adjudicate cases. So we're going to file this lawsuit. It's a violation of due process. It's a violation of equal protection. It's a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act. And so we've got a great case. We're going to be adding plaintiffs. We're going to do a mass action, not a class action, a mass action. But we'll be filing this hopefully by January 1. We want to get all the plaintiffs in the next few weeks. And that should be up for viewing in the next 2 or 3 days. So we just got to put the computer stuff together to make these cases feasible for us to do in the mass action with hundreds of plaintiffs. Now, I do want to jump back now to DACA. I always wait a little bit because I know lots of folks get on about DACA around this time. Nobody in DACA is on time. A little thirsty today. So what's going on? Well, I spoke with one of the lawyers on the case recently, and they're literally thinking, they're just waiting for the judge to make a decision. They believe, and they're convinced, that immigration will be true to their word, that they will begin adjudicating the pending H-21Ds the moment the judge says they can. They do not think there's going to be any appeal in the case, and I'll have more information next week in our probably the last live before Christmas. I doubt I will go live on the 20. Oh, it will be the 26th. No, it's Wednesday. Today is the 11th, 10th. It's 20. I doubt I'll go live on Christmas Eve. Who watches immigration on Christmas Eve? Well, maybe I will. I'll be in Peru. Maybe I'll go live. We'll see. But I'll give an update next week, both in English and Spanish. But for today, which is English only, estamos en inglés nomás hoy día, pero contesto preguntas en español. Well, all the folks that are pending, they're going to be adjudicated. Now, will you be approved? I don't know. Are they going to ask for more information? More than likely. You're going to be gathering information that you've been here since you filed it, right? Your tax returns, your work pay stubs, your leases. Just have them ready. All right, you don't need to do anything with them; just have them ready. And that's why when immigration contacts you or your lawyer, depending who filed the case, you can go ahead and respond promptly to that. We also know, as we've talked many times, people in Texas are going to ask the question again: do you have to leave Texas? No, you don't have to leave Texas. But if you stay in Texas, you're not going to have a work permit, and you're going to begin accruing unlawful presence, which is not generally a good thing. But for example, we have people that had already traveled on advance parole. Their kids turning 21 next year, they don't work anyway, they're fine. They still have DACA, which is deferred action. They're not going to deport you. All right, so you just got to wait. But again, you won't have any ID. It's a problem. You have to carry your paper around that you have DACA to show that you have DACA. But it's really important to understand that if you want to keep working, you need to leave Texas. It's really pretty simple. Now, can you live on the border in Louisiana and drive into Texas there? Absolutely can do it. No problem. You can do that. USCIS, that's no problem. We don't care. But they're going to email, they're going to send you a letter. You're probably within 30 days of the decision, giving you 30 days to get back to them. I'm telling you, be prepared now. People will ask when the judge is going to make his decision. I don't know. I'm not the judge. I would pray he did it before Christmas. I don't know. But I hope he does. I think it's fair that he did it before Christmas, but that's kind of where we are. Now, the other thing I want to talk about with DACA, this is important because people ask all the time, can you get permanent residence from DACA? The answer to that is no. There is no DACA green card train, but indirectly you can, and in different ways you can do it. So, for example, if you have DACA and you've been in the United States for most of your life, but you got DACA before you were 18 and 1/2, an employer can go through the EB-3 green card process, which right now takes 4 or 5 years, and they can get you a green card. But you will have to travel to your home country and our consulate there to get your green card, but you will get your green card. We've done this a number of times. It's no problem doing it. The key is obviously keeping DACA valid while you're going through the process, but absolutely your employer can sponsor you. You can also be sponsored if you got DACA after 18 and 1/2 through an employer if you have a mom or a dad who's a resident or citizen, because they can sponsor a waiver of what will then be a 10-year bar when you leave the United States. Now, also, if you have DACA, now this, of course, applies if you only have one entry. If you have 2 entries, none of this applies, generally speaking. If you have children born here or your spouse is a U.S. citizen, they can sponsor you for a green card. The spouse can sponsor you the day you get married. Your child can sponsor you when they turn 21. But you have to have a legal entry. Otherwise, you've got a 10-year bar if you leave. So why? What do? You get an advanced parole, which is why I've been screaming and begging you to get an advanced parole. Yes, they're still giving advanced paroles. Yes, it's still safe to travel. Yes, it's safe to travel with a deportation order. Just get the advanced parole. Deportation orders can mostly be overcome. What cannot be overcome, generally speaking, are multiple entries. Now, I'll give you a final update. Now, that's how you get green cards. And literally 500,000 DACA recipients have done it. So don't think it can't be done. It absolutely gets done. We've done hundreds and hundreds of these, as have other lawyers. But keep in mind, this is really, really important, that you maintain your DACA. You renew a year out. That's my advice. Renew a year out. You don't know what Trump's going to do. There's an election year coming up. He wants to crack down on immigration. Who knows what crazy thing he will do? Could he end DACA? They could go through the process. Will it end right away? No. But why not maximize your time? When you're right at that year mark, file another renewal. People say, you're losing a year. No, you're not. You're just renewing it every year. That's okay. You know, they haven't raised the price on DACA, so for right now, you should do that. Now, that's kind of where we are on DACA and the green card options. Now, as an update, our litigation on the multiple entry has been filed. We are litigating the issue of a individual who is in the country undocumented as a child, who leaves while still under the age of 18, and then comes back. Whether they come back under 18 or over 18 doesn't really matter, because it's that time under 18 that they're counting. And we're arguing that time spent in the United States under the age of 18 cannot legally be counted towards the permanent bar, because the only definition of unlawful presence in the statute includes an exemption for minors. It makes no sense. Why are you punishing minors for life? Because we've got clients who left and came back at 1 year old. They have no. Why are you punishing them for life? So we got to make sure and try to litigate this. Now, there's no guarantee of an outcome, but we're going to litigate it. We promise you litigating it. We're litigating. All right, that's our DACA update. Now, the next update, the U visas. We are litigating at Immigration Impact Litigation. We are litigating U visas. Basically, the issue we're litigating is when somebody is given a bona fide determination and given that action, they cannot be detained and they cannot be deported. So what we're doing is filing a lawsuit to release people from custody and to stop them from being detained. So whether you've detained or you just have a bona fide determination, this lawsuit will be for you to protect you from being detained or deported by ICE. So that's I didn't save there. So that is our new litigation on U visas. All right. Now I want to give you an update on our F1. I know I've got some of our F1 plaintiffs that come here every week. And I told you that the government response was due last week. The government reached out to us, as I said they would the day before, asking for more time. They wanted 70 days. We told them no. We would give them 30 max. So they said, no, we're going to file with the judge and ask for 70 days. And literally within a day before we could file our response, the judge gave them 55 days. So basically the judge gave them till January 20th. To respond in an answer. I'm guessing they're going to file a motion to dismiss. I don't know, but that's where we are. I know this sucks. I know you want to find out if you're going to get your visas back. This is the process. This is how litigation works. It's slow. Now, finally, I know we got folks on here that are interested in the H-1B visa fee litigation that Impact Immigration is part of. I love being part of this group. These are great lawyers. Aaron Hall and Zach New from Joseph and Hall in Denver, Greg Siskin, Jonna Bailey, and a group of others from Siskin Susser in Memphis. We got Jesse Bless, the amazing Jesse Bless. What a blessing Jesse Bless is from Boston and our team here at Cook Baxter. The H-1B fee litigation, we're actually part of a much larger, we have like 50 lawyers on this case. This is a case in California, not the Chamber of Commerce case. So the Chamber of Commerce case was filed after us, but they immediately moved for summary judgment, cross motions for summary judgment in DC. But that lawsuit, and they're going to win, but that will only protect chamber members, which most employers are not, because it costs money to belong to the chamber. So our lawsuit, which is in California, is going to be a class action. We're filing a class action shortly. I don't know exactly when. Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud. They'll kick my butt for doing it. But we'll be doing that. We're going to protect everybody. We're getting the motions necessary to get a decision. We believe we will have a decision in place by February 28th. We believe we're going to win. The DC litigation will probably have a decision sometime in mid to late January, so about a month before ours. But again, theirs will only protect chamber members. Ours will protect everybody. And again, I'll reiterate, I think the $100,000 fee is illegal. There's no lawful basis to put a $100,000 fee on filings, which is what USCIS is doing, which is illegal. I don't even think they can do it as an entry fee. I think that's also illegal because 212F doesn't account for fees in that context. And certainly that usurps the role of Congress in raising money for the federal government. So it's an illegal tax as well. So that's those issues that we've talked about today. We've covered all of them. We've talked for like 17, 18 minutes now. Let's look at some of the questions that we have up here today. And again, if you ever want to get a hold of me, it's really simple. You ever want to ask us a question or set an appointment, mostly set an appointment, you call this number, 404-861-8611, or you email me. Because I answer all my emails myself. I don't have people to answer my emails. I answer them. I usually answer the same day. You can do that, all right? And, of course, you can always follow me on the old Twitter machine. And our website has tons and tons and tons of information, immigration.net, including a chat feature, which we're still working the bugs out on, but it's not an AI chat. Our chat feature is a live chat. It just might not be live. You might not get an answer for a day because obviously we have to go in and do it. But we think that's a good service for people. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments here. We got some questions building up. Let's cross that out there. Rustin, how you doing, Mr. I'm in Texas currently. Have a pending first-time DACA. Will the Judge Hammond order cause No. What Judge Hammond's order will do will cause USCIS to send you a letter saying, do you still live in Texas? So move your butt out of Texas if you want DACA. Pretty simple stuff. That's what you need to do. Carlos, all this will win. The World Cup, right? There are going to be a special visa provisions. If you have a ticket to the World Cup, that will get you a faster interview, supposedly at a consulate. Doesn't mean you're going to get the visa, though. So you got to spend all this money on a World Cup ticket and then get denied at the consulate. Oh, these guys are just really. And we're celebrating our 250th anniversary this year next year as a country. Can you think of a worse president to do this with. You know, he pretends to love America, but hates everything about America. The people, really, all the people. Pegue, Durango, mi prima es residente y su hijo es ciudadano, el esposo tiene entrada ilegal, si puede hacer algo por él. So her cousin is married, her son is a citizen, and her spouse has an illegal entry. She's a resident. Can she sponsor her husband? Sí, sí se puede. Yes, she can. She can sponsor her husband with a waiver. Puede hacerlo con un perdón. Llame por una cita. Call for an appointment. Pero podemos ayudarlo. Annie Cruz is in the Christmas spirit today. Merry Christmas. Or as they say in Peru, Feliz cumpleaños. And in Hawaii, Mele Kelikimaka. All right. Julia, buenas tardes, abogado. Yo he estado escuchando que el gobierno puede confiscar las cuentas bancarias si alguien no tiene estatus legal en el país. She is hearing that the government can confiscate bank accounts if they're here in the country illegally. That is not true. Eso no es verdad. Eso no es verdad. Eso no es verdad. Odio esos rumores. Eso no es verdad. That is just literally not true. Is it really taking 26 months for an adjustment of status for a U visa? Yes. Yes, it is. Bendiciones a ti también, Ani. Can the 5-year work permit cancellation for certain categories be changed in court? I think there is a group that is challenging that and putting together. It just takes time to put the litigation together. Nothing happens overnight that's good. But I think I have heard through the grapevine that is being challenged. Why a mass action instead of class action? See your question. Because I don't work for free. And neither do my colleagues. This case is going to not end at district court. It could go all the way to the Supreme Court. And I don't know what you know about litigation, but it's extraordinarily time consuming. And my wife has barred me from working for free. She just said I can't work for free. I used to work for free. I don't work for free anymore. That's why it's a mass action. Now, a mass action may have an impact as a class action, and the judge could turn it into a class action if he wants to, but I don't see that happening. So join the mass action. Hola, abogado Margot, gusto verte, un placer de ayudar. Di Contreras, the future problem for DACA is SCOTUS. No, I don't see that. It's the appeal had to go up from the Fifth Circuit of the decision. All the judge is doing now is implementing the decision. The decision has been made, and it did not get appealed. So there cannot be an appeal to the Supreme Court of DACA. There could there be an appeal of how he interprets it? Maybe, but I don't think that's going to happen. And they cannot address the DACA issue. Okay, that's good news. Good afternoon, Mr. Cook. I'm doing well. Super C, good to see you. Samantha Cruz. Where are we? Come on, Samantha. Come on, scroll down just a little bit. That's weird. There it is. Family member was sexually assaulted in 2021. Criminal was not caught, but there was a police report. They have no legal entrance. Yeah, they can apply for a U visa. Many states, especially here in Georgia, have a 4-year limit when they'll sign on stuff. So get to a lawyer real quickly with that police report. They accept the new application. Are we able to apply from Texas? No, you will have to move. They will not take a DACA application from Texas. Hi, for N400 change, give more character change. We haven't seen much. We haven't seen any questions about it in any of the interviews. But we're submitting all our new applications with good moral evidence. So we're submitting letters from friends, letters from your pastor, evidence that you've paid your taxes since you've gotten your green card. And if you're in local community organizations, if you're the team dad, if you coach softball for your kids, if you work on the PTA, anything that shows that you're actively involved in the community, again, hasn't come up yet in any of the interviews because it's hard to come up. All right, so man, I don't know what's going on here. I'm having a really hard time scrolling. Okay, let's do this first. Do you think the new public charge will be challenged in court? 100%. No, you're not disqualified. There is no way it can be permanently disqualified. Plus, when Trump is gone, that is going away. It just is. Okay. Appreciate you, Charles. You're part of the reason why DACA is being back to school. You're welcome. Congratulations. Thank you, Donaldo. Hope you're doing well. What is the final update on the multiple entries of the child? There is no final update, and I already gave it. Thanks for asking, though. It's going to be a while before there's any final update. Accepting new applications? No, immigration will take your money, but don't send it until they open, please. Please. Is it okay to do AP with an order removal? Yes, I said that at the very beginning. It is okay to do advanced parole with an order removal. Thank you. If Judge Hannon removes stay and EAD removed, and they ask for it back, well, my job doesn't tell me anything about it, and ask for new proof, can you keep working? Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, it's illegal. The company can get in trouble. The company can get in trouble, but you can't. You're just undocumented anyway. Can you I can't tell you legally to work without a permit, but people do it. Can you clarify again real quick on unlawful presence for those in DACA in Texas? As long as you keep your DACA current. No, in Texas, if you have your DACA, you will lose it after this litigation's over. So you'll keep DACA, but you will begin accruing unlawful presence. So the DACA is not preserving your unlawful presence if you stay in Texas. God, I think I've said that right 4 different times. What is the EB3 waiting time? 4 to 5 years. Can I use a friend's or family member's home address to get a bill? Well, no, Oscar, you know why? Because that's fraud. I can't tell you to commit fraud. You have to reside there. You have to have a lease in your name or a house. You need to have an address. You need to have a driver's license. You need to have bills. They're going to ask for evidence. Okay? You can't live in Texas. You can visit Texas for work during the week, but you have to live outside the state, Oscar. Don't play this game. That's just stupid. Don't play the game. These people are not dumb at the Immigration Service, okay? And neither is Texas. How do you think Democrats take the House? Maybe the House Senate? Well, here's how I think that will happen. One, there'll be hearings, tons of hearings. Plus, this forces the Democrats to actually grow a backbone and pass affirmative litigation on immigration. And frankly, Trump, if he's still alive by this time comes, I don't know. This guy is not in good health. I think he'll sign it. I think he would sign. If they name it the Donald Trump Immigration Reform Act. All right? You don't think he'd sign it? Oh, come on. The Donald Trump Immigration Reform Act? Call it the Donald Trump Immigration Perfection Act. He'll love it. He'll love it. Put his picture on it. Yeah. Give him a coin at the same time. He'll sign it. Will first-time DACA recipients be able to do advanced parole? Residents, you can still do it, but you can't get advanced parole either. So if you've abandoned your work permit and you've abandoned your maintenance of status, you're not getting an advanced parole either. If you want advanced parole, you will need to leave Texas. But some people have been approved even with multiple entries. Yes, some people, I know that for a fact, that some have been approved multiple entries with the argument that doesn't apply. And that may be because immigration is not very smart, maybe because they agree. It's a little unclear. You don't get answers why they approve cases. You only get answers when they deny cases. When do you expect to hear a response for the multiple entry for minors? Oh, it's 6, 8, 10 months. 6, 8, 10 months. Hi, I came here when I was 2, got DACA when I was 20. Don't have legal entry. I'm in Texas. Do you ever do the consular process? Well, if you got an AP filing, I mean, I don't know are you married? You have kids that are 21? I doubt it. So I assume you're married to a citizen. Is the I-130 approved? Do the I-130 for consular processing, and advanced parole comes in. Do the advanced parole, then adjust status. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Dhruv, good to see you. And nice to meet you, too, in New York. You met me in New York. I was speaking last week, as many of you know, in New York City. And Dhruv came and treated me to a drink over at Starbucks in Times Square. Thank you, Dhruv. Kayla, will my Texas trip be valid once I take away work? Yes, it's gone. Always appreciate that. You're welcome, Toby. Appreciate that. Will DACA soon be reopened? Already, go back to minutes 4 through 10. We talk about that right there. With the after being detained, if you don't have DACA but you're married to a citizen, you are eligible for habeas and a bond and cancellation of removal. So yeah, you can still get it. A DACA recipient with removal order from 2003 did AP, now married, says, do I have to do a motion to reopen in the court or do a 212? Here's what I recommend. Do you have an in absentia order? Were you a child? Then I would try to do a motion to reopen, especially if it's in San Antonio, for example. If you were an adult, that's a different story. If it was not in absentia, that's a different story. So it just depends. I need more information, but generally speaking, you want to do the motion first because that's like getting 2 bites at the apple. It is. Plus, you can't 212 a in absentia order without winning the argument that it was through no fault of your own that you didn't go to court. Basically, it's outside your control, i.e. you were a 2-year-old. Average time frame for AP right now is 11 months. I already have my legal entry, but I have multiple entries. Is it safe to go to my country again? Yeah, it's perfectly safe. If you got the advance parole, it's still valid. You're good to go. Good after. 601A approved last week. Congratulations. Getting declared for Freedom of War. Ask criminal record my local B. Have none, but who detained you? Your local police? Your local police aren't going to detain you. By the way, you can go to like a mailboxes, etc., and run your fingerprints that way. I don't know what you need. Generally speaking, you don't need to do that, though, if you're going to Juarez, because you've been living in the United States since you were a child, presumably. So you don't need to do a fingerprint. But if I was going to do it, I'd use the ones that go through like the mailboxes, etc., where you go to their office and they scan it and they give you a report. That's the FBI report. That covers everything. You don't need to go to your state, people. What happens to H-1B extension requests getting annoyed due to country of birth? Great question. That's part of our lawsuit. Sabamo, that's part of our lawsuit, and we will be filing a TRO with that. At least a preliminary injunction. I don't know if it's TRO preliminary injunction. We'll be filing with that. So, yeah, you need to join that lawsuit. Should be up on the Impact website by Monday. As far as the H-1B litigation timeline, do you expect the judgment for California will survive the appellate process? I do. There is no legal basis for this fee. None. I don't think they'll get a stay either. Really. There's no legal basis for it. None. Hopefully the judge will say that. There is no legal basis for this. My question is about nationality as a negative factor. You can't avoid it. But that's illegal, actually. Nationality is illegal to be considered under the Immigration Nationality Act, 8 USC 1158A. It's illegal to consider nationality and granting any benefits under the act, except under the 7% rule. So they can't deny you because you're Iranian. They can't deny you because you're Afghan. That is very illegal. And again, we got to litigate everything, right? We got to litigate everything. Good thing I've been doing litigation since 1989, probably before many of you were born or listening to this. But when you got experienced people litigating, you're going to win, even with the SCOTUS that we have. ¿Cómo puedo hacer para meterme a la demanda para protección de los pendientes de EAD o bona fide? Va a ser vivo mañana en el sitio de web de Impact Immigration. On the H-1B, do we expect the government to comply? I do expect them to comply with the government ruling. No, they technically haven't really not complied. It's a little vague about what the rulings were, but to my knowledge, they've always complied ultimately. Arya Rosemary, I'm eager for DACA initial application to start. I hope so too. To Matt very soon. Oh, I understand. I understand the fear. I get the fear. If I stay in Texas and later I move, will they give me? Yes, then you can reapply for the work permit. Saludos y bendiciones. Feliz cumpleaños. Feliz año nuevo, hermano. Can I extend OPT for the 19 countries? The answer to that question apparently is no, which is why you need to join the lawsuit, which we should have up and running on Monday. Carla Flores, how fast would an already DACA recipient move under a U visa? It's the same amount of time as anybody else. If you start now, it's about a 24-year wait for the U visa. You get a bona fide in maybe 5 years. So, el monte o pagar es por persona o por paquete? Es por persona. Saludos, Chris. Gusto verte. Luis, I have DACA, but I also have a U visa pending through my wife. So I have both C-14 and C-33 work permits. Do I still have to renew my DACA? Oh, you should definitely. Well, generally, did you just get your U visa? I mean, so you have a bona fide determination under the U visa. So that should be fine, but it. So and U is better, generally speaking, than DACA. But if they'll let you do both, do both. I mean, because you can never have enough of protection. It's like buying insurance. Precio nunca hablamos aquí, estará en el sitio de web. Marco Gallardo. What if someone has an administrative order removal, but still getting preferred DACA? Time as they should be. Getting arrested for felony was never adjudicated. Well, you're fine. What about it? You still get your DACA. Okay, removal order doesn't matter for DACA. I applied for an I-130. Should I apply for DACA? It'll be your first time. Yeah, you should. Thoughts on having a lawsuit handy should they be arrested by ICE at the green card? Very good idea. So somebody is being interviewed for their green card through their wife, but they themselves have no legal status. What we recommend in that situation is they have prepared a petition for writ of habeas corpus and a bond package that can be filed immediately with the court if they are arrested right that day. And that keeps the case local. And without having to go to some other crap hole place across the country, and you're much more likely to win that way. Any advice if stopped by ICE with a pending DACA application? You have to give them your name. Don't give them any other information. Don't carry anything with you that says you're from a different country. Just don't answer any questions. They ask you where you're from. I'm not answering that question. I have no legal obligation to answer that question. My name is Josue Cortez. Thank you. You have any ID? I'm not going to answer that question. They're not the police. Police, if you don't have an ID, they can arrest you. They can question you, but they have to have probable cause. What's the probable cause that you're stopping me? Where are you from? What's the probable cause you're stopping me? Just keep repeating. What's your probable cause for stopping me? Am I being detained? Am I being detained? If they say no, then drive slowly away or walk slowly away. If they say yes, just sit there. You're under no obligation to do anything other than not resist. Okay, that's what I would do. I know you don't discuss price, but can you say if DACA AP should cost nearly? No, Lezo, that is a god-awful amount of money. Oscar Guajardo, can I use a friend or family member's home address to get a bill under my name? No, Oscar, you already asked that question. Don't ask it again, otherwise I'll bore you from the site. You only get one time, right? Anybody new here? One question. I go through every question, okay? That's illegal. Don't do it. All right, let's see here. What is your suggested course of action for those who already submitted an I-149W for listening? You need to join the lawsuit because you're going to need to sue. Going to need to sue. How possible do you think it is for immigration to be passed through the next year? I think if it's a blue wave, I think we're going to need to just literally organize the hell out of it and march on Washington, D.C. and march on offices, be in every congressional office, regardless of party. Fix it. Because the reality is, we don't have to be living through this nightmare. We don't. This is eminently fixable to benefit America, to benefit people that were born here, to benefit people that want to come here. We can fix this, everybody. This is not an unfixable problem. Viviana. A family member is detained by ICE, multiple entries in a DUI from 2018. Any chance to be let go if they hire a lawyer? Yeah, I mean, they have to file a habeas if they came in illegally. I mean, they don't, if they have kids here and they've been here longer than 10 years, they have cancellation of removal eligibility. If they haven't been here 10 years, no, but if they're here 10 years and they have kids or a wife or parents, yeah, absolutely, hire a lawyer. Thanks for your time. For the 19 countries of concern, I have pending 45. I think you need to take the mass action, my friend. I do. What's the update on DACA? The update is go back to the beginning of the show where I talk about the update. It'll be live on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube. You can go back and scan to that. Has anything changed for conditional green card process right now? No, nothing's changed. If people in the mass action win, would that be to their immigration? Would that not be in a record? Look, I've done litigation now for 37 years. I've never seen anybody negatively impacted for bringing a case against the Immigration Service. Win or lose the case, I've never seen them impacted because the judge would be very upset to find out that even if the person was denied by the judge, that immigration took negative action based on that filing. So no, it's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it's a non-thing. You're allowed to do it, and it's part of their job. They get sued all the time. It's not like you're offending anybody. Do most people get removed under a master hearing? No, most people don't. What is next for TPS? I don't know. What country are you from? DREAM Act Promise 25, any input? Yeah, zero chance of passage in this Congress. Easy. Can we travel to Texas? You can go to Texas. Don't know why you'd want to, but you can go to Texas. Doesn't it take at least 4 judges in the government may have a case? Yes. Well, it takes 4 judges who want to rule on the case. So it might have been the 3 liberals say, we want to take this case. We want to settle this once and for all. Probably not. But yeah, it's very concerning they took the case to me. But I do not think they have 5 judges. Do you really think that Chief Justice Roberts wants to find that people born here are not citizens? You know, that is a Dred Scott type of legacy. Really. It's like a Dred Scott type of legacy. It's a slavery legacy. It would be outrageous. I mean, really. I would, if he did that, I'm going to guess that the Democrats would pack the court. Because they can do that. They don't need to pass a constitutional amendment. They can just pass a law. And they can override a veto if they got a veto-proof majority. So, will it happen? I don't know. But they certainly can threaten it. I don't think Roberts wants that. But they should pack the court if they do that. What are your thoughts about the DREAM Act being introduced? It's a nothing burger. No chance of passion. He's not in good health. Any hope for some movement for the H-1B lawsuit? I updated that already. Go back and take a look at that, Amy. No need to ask any more questions about it. El precio de la demanda para protección de casos pendientes de visa U. ¿Cómo puedo entrar? Puedes ir al sitio del web, Impact Immigration, el lunes. My employer needs to file a perm for EB2, EB3 before 1 year of my H-1B exit. Is that true? Yes, that is true, Bumek. All these things happening is so sad. Yeah, I know. It just sucks. It just makes me sad, but it also pisses me off, which is why I litigate. Just to get more detail on my freedom, the U.S. is making difficult when processing the permanent green card. One second issue about that. No, not at all. My husband has a naturalization interview back in October. He passed this. I asked for an RFE, told him once they received it, it was going to be processed ASAP. It's 2 months. They have 120 days to process it. And after that, call me, we can sue. Is there a legal argument or precedent that can be used to fight the $1,000 parole fee for DACA recipients in the courts? I don't think so, because it's passed by Congress. Congress can make any law they want on immigration, and they did. There's no court case there. I'm a first-time DACA applicant for 2021. I can stay in Texas to get my deferred action approved. Then I can move to California. Feel safe. Yeah, you can do that too if you want to. What happens if TPS expired before the USCIS Act? I don't know what that means. Will that person be still in status? He will expire 12. I don't understand the question. It's a little confusing. Jonah, I already have a legal entry on and have multiple entries. It's safe to go to my country again during this month. Are you trying to, again, ask a question once. You just wasted my time by asking it twice. My wife, my wife was approved as a citizen, was scheduled for 12th of December. She does Venezuela. Can she sue? Yes, she can, and she should. Join the lawsuit. How long does the process take for us? U.S. citizen, child, U.S. resident, petition the husband, illegal entry, has no status, will be consular process. Well, it depends on the country, but probably about 4 years. You get 1 year for the I-130. You've got 2 years for the waiver. You got another up to a year for the consulate. For Texas, do you think we will have to send you our license and ID? Yes, they will ask for your license and ID of where you live. Do you recommend to advance parole if a DACA recipient has an administrative removal order, still getting approved for DACA year after year? Yeah, absolutely, I recommend it. Absolutely, it's the way out. Does the ESTA thing also applies traveling back with advanced parole? No, it does not, because that's a USCIS application. And the ESTA is Department of State. If I plan to do AOS and stay in Texas, will it affect me getting approved? No. How long is AP taking the first time? Well, 11 months is the most oldest case we have. We don't have any 15 months, but that wouldn't surprise me. Probably need to sue on it. If I was approved for NIW, have done advanced parole, but I'm more than 6 months criminal for, what would be my next step to adjust? If my wife was a derivative and has no law for it, could she get the green card more easily? Well, if she got her own green card, not through you, but her own, then she could sponsor your waiver for your green card. So there's that. What's the final ruling? Don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. If my husband is not working, can he still sponsor me? Well, he can. He's required to, but you'll need a co-sponsor. Do they really hate skilled immigrants like physicians? Yes. I mean, Pat, you grossly underestimate how much they hate you. You do. These are white nationalists. These are racists. That's what they are. They don't like anybody. They don't even like most of the white people like me. They just like the white people like them, who think like them. They want to have their own little country. It's like their own little confederacy. And now that they've got the White House, they can do stuff. They can come crawling out of the woodwork like little ants to show the light of day. And they will scurry back under the holes when Trump is gone. Watch it. Okay, mark my words. Is it possible to do a motion open more than one time? No, you get one shot. For the 90,000 pending, should they use your tax filings? Yeah, absolutely. That would be a good idea. You've got an ITAN. You're allowed to do that. I'm still waiting on certification. But since I'm will I do? I still have to move out of Texas. I don't understand the question. Is there any way to cancel administrative removal order? What do you mean, administrative removal order? I don't understand, Marco. That's why you make an appointment. This is why you make an appointment. You call, make an appointment so we can go over the details. How long is the U visa taking to process? And is U visa better than DACA? U visa is better than DACA because it's based in law, and DACA is based in policy. So U is better always. When will we hear about the new application for DACA? Go back to the first 10 minutes of the show. Greetings, Mr. Cook. Will people adjusting status attend interviews? Only issue is over, so they keep getting arrested. Well, we know it's not everywhere. It hasn't happened here in Atlanta yet. It's happening in Salt Lake right now, but not to everybody. And we just don't know whether it was a trial run. They're going to do it. They got a lot of backlash from doing it. I don't think officers are very happy about it, but because it's just all you're doing is spinning wheels. You're going to get your green card anyway. You're just going to have to go through the system, and they get to chalk you up as somebody that they've arrested. I mean, it's all a scam. Can I get a vacation under my name in another state and stay in Texas to keep my work permit? Luz, I can't tell you to commit fraud. Do what I told you to do. Move to another state and visit Texas for work. Let's see. Can my spouse, who's in the Army, petition me? Yes, 100%. And if you haven't done advanced parole, you can do military parole in place instead. It's easier. We did send his RFP 2 days ago. How long does it take for a decision? 120 days. A family member is detained with ICE, and his DACA will expire this month. He renewed back in October. Still has a quick. Can he be deported? No. If his DACA is still valid, he can't be deported. Well, he needs to file a habeas, Mariana. He can file a habeas and get out of that appeal. That appeal is in bad faith. Why was he detained? He must have been arrested for something. What was he arrested for? That's my question. Hola, abogado. Hope everything is well. Take care. Well, thank you, Odia. Good to see you. My brother, for Luis Parra, is detained in the Fresnos. His bond here is Monday, denied. Being retained, he's now 30 married. Why was his bond denied? Did he get a bond hearing after a habeas, or did the judge say no jurisdiction, so he has to file a habeas? More details. Lawyer, my dad has been trying to fix papers for my stepmom. They have done 2 interviews in Fort Smith, Arkansas. What do you think they haven't answered them? I don't know. Do they have a lawyer? The lawyer should be able to answer that question. I came to the U.S. when I was 1 year old. A tourist visa overstayed, got DACA, got arrested, charges dropped, received removal order, still getting approved for DACA. Any way to recommend fighting this? Fighting what? Are you married to a citizen? Because there's no way to get it undone unless you have a benefit you can apply for. First of all, thank you. You're welcome. I'm in Louisiana. I'm on DACA. Best recommendation if I get stopped by CBP, you show them your card. You're legally here. Here's my DACA. So you have your work permit, and you show them your DACA approval notice. And say, do you have any other questions? That's it. They can't. If they take the work permit, call your lawyer. We'll get it back. We'll call the U.S. attorney and get it back. Thanks for everything in your words. As dumb as they may be, I want to become a citizen and make change. No, I want you to become a citizen and make changes and vote. Absolutely. Should someone do AP on DACA, they have a waive through entry? Well, do you have proof of the waive through entry? What's your proof? If you're Canadian, honestly, back in the day, I would say no. Today, do the advanced parole. It's just easier, really. Is it possible to get order removal dismissed under EB-209W? I don't know. I don't know why you have an order of removal. Let's see. You are. Thank you very much. Are CR1 visas still being processed for Afghan? No visas are being processed for Afghan nationals. None, which is why we have to sue them. Is the $1,000 charge for applicants in advanced parole under VAWA? Yes. Anybody on advanced parole. Es seguro pedir advance parole? Sí, seguro de pedir advance parole. Can Judge Hanna be petty and decide not to reopen the DACA case? No, he can't. Francisco Marin, okay. Es seguro mandar a pedir advance parole? Yes. I have a friend currently in process to reinstate his green card through his previous marriage. He was arrested for hit and run and placed on an ice hole. What should he do? Get a really good lawyer immediately to not get convicted of a hit and run. That's what he needs to do. Safe to travel on advanced parole waiting a green card? Well, that's a good question. Do you need to travel? Because if you have a pending green card and you got your advanced parole through the green card, my advice to you is not to travel. If you don't have to travel, if you're going for pleasure or to see your Uncle Sally, your Aunt Sally, I wouldn't go. If somebody's dying, go. All right. But I don't like using advanced parole with a pending green card. Had my AOS interview August 12th, was approved verbally, no updates, anything I do. Once you hit the 120-day mark, you should call your congressman or senator and ask them to ask immigration what the status of the case is. Turnaround time for LPR petition to DACA spouse who is an AP for green card. Well, first of all, she can't get a green card here through you. She has to consular process as a spouse of a resident. If you wanted to get a green card here, you have to be a citizen. Or he has to be a citizen. Spouse to you, an LPR is not an immediate relative, so they have to consular process with a waiver. If they've got get that DACA before they were 18 and a half, then they just consular process. But if they didn't, then you need to wait till you're a citizen so you can adjust status or do the waiver. Why do some people say people with multiple have been detained? Or I don't understand the questions very well. I don't understand that either. How long are waivers processing for the month? I think it's taking 2 years right now, about 24 months. And 601As are being processed faster than they were 2 years ago. I currently have a pending H4 application. I'm an authorized period of stay. Will this create any issues with ICE? No. Can I apply to DACA with no tax return? Well, not if you've been working. How important is it for beneficiaries to file taxes they have work? Can this cause issues? Look, if you work, you need to file taxes because you pay taxes. You're either getting money back or you're going to pay money. File your damn taxes, okay? When you get a conditional green card and your driver's license, it's the same as a conditional green card. I live in Texas. It's the same thing. You're welcome, Amit. Good to see you. Again, it's very sad to see what we're seeing. Can a decision by immigration as fired by be rescinded? No. Do you think the domestic flight should be avoided for an Iranian H-1B visa at this point at all unlawful? I don't think you need to avoid flying domestically if you've got a valid passport and a valid visa. Let's say TPS expires 12/12/25. U.S. did not revoke or extend. What will happen to those already on that TPS? It's automatically extended for 60 days. Is parole in place available? My nephew is trying to help his mom, but doesn't have DACA or any other protection. Oh, she does. Well, if he's in the military, do a military parole in place. Kimberly, I already answered this question. Please go back and look at it. How long are U visa bona fides taking? A year or two, but we're going to sue on that too. And we sued individually on that, and we get those approved in 60 days. What about the charge the government with government benefits that this DACA can't get, but our kids may get will be affected? I do not believe so. Can this decision? Oh no, Kimberly, you're barred. Hello, I did AOS. My I-130 has been approved last week, but I haven't heard anything about my 45 since 12/24. I wouldn't be concerned. They're just taking longer on these, and they tell you they're taking 2 years. So you really can't even file a lawsuit until 2 years have passed. Kimberly, I'm going to have to block you. I'm really sorry. You only get one question at a time. Man, I go through all these. The Prague Syndicate. If visa is denied due to an immigrant having diabetes, is that an appealable issue? Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. But that's a good question. What I would do is just wait until this administration is gone and apply again. I think that's illegal to do. Do we advise domestic flights be avoided? I already answered that question. Para entrar, la demanda protección para casos pendientes es una línea de información, por favor. Impactimmigration.com. That's what you need to do. Maybe I can put it up here. Let's put that up. Here we go. This is where you're going to go. This is the onboarding case website. It's not up to date yet. So I just put up the website that you can go to. You go to this website, and that will have the information on it tomorrow or Friday. My mom got her citizenship. What is the process for AOS for me? I'm from Ecuador. I have legal entry. Filed 245I years ago for a failed AOS. Well, I mean, do you have an approved I-130? You can't AOS without an approved I-130. Are you an adult? Are you under 21? Need more information. Menendez Eli, I'm a candidate for a U visa. No VAWA, I want to apply for it, but a lawyer held me for my son of 5 years. I have legal entry already. I mean, I think you apply for the U visa because this way you get a work permit faster than 5 years. If I self-deport, will my son be able to picture me when he's 21? Have DACA currently? Well, Linda, did you get DACA before you were 18 and a half? If you got it before you're 18 and a half, yeah, you just leave. Not a deportation, you're just leaving, and you won't have any bars. But if you got DACA after 18 and a half, you're going to have a bar. So if you got DACA between after 18 and a half but before 19, you have a 3-year bar. If you got it after 19, you have a 10-year bar. Ives Gutierrez, misma pregunta. Okay, Kimberly. Oh, no, Kimberly, you're killing me. If If you guys win in court, well, the third section of the policy is that the re-review section of green card holders, all of it. No, that we're only stopping the work. We're not going. They're allowed to re-review stuff. It's a gigantic waste of time. They can do it. But what I would suggest for those people, if they have confidence in their green card, apply for citizenship, and then we can sue on that. That's easy to do. Me puede un hijo que está en la frontera perdido un padre, aunque el padre fue detenido en la frontera 2 veces. Depende. Necesito más información. All right. Can I do a legal entry if I do advance parole with a removal order? Wouldn't I be deporting myself doing that? Technically, we would argue no. Yves Gutierrez, we could also argue yes if we need to. 2,000 no es mucho, pero yo estoy muy peleado. I don't know what that means. If I sponsor my husband as DACA, he has a legal entry. Is he safe? Yes, it's perfectly safe, even in Texas. If adjustment started this consular process and moved to AOS, how long does NVC keep the file? So what you do is if your AOS is approved, you write to the National Visa Center and say, hey, I got my green card. Please close my case. That's what you do. Do that affirmative action. Okay, a couple more questions and we're going to be done here. Nephew has a green card, arrested for OWI, charged with use of reckless driving. Can he fly to the country? Yes, he can fly to the country, no problem. If a husband is petitioning a wife for adjustment of status and he has an arrest warrant for traffic infraction, would it affect the case? No, it will not. I live in Texas, and a month ago I renewed DACA, but I haven't got it yet. What do you think is happening? I'm thinking you're in the line. That's what I'm thinking is happening. I have my AP done. Can my brother put in my application? Yeah, it's just going to take 20 years. A couple more questions here. I was denied VAWA because my lawyer said I could leave even though I provide everything on time. Yeah, you can file again. Do you think there's a risk for those who file for 751? I do not, unless you don't have a real marriage. There's a risk. I'm eligible for 245 VAWA EB2. I also applied pending OPT extension. File for given courage. Yeah, you should file so that we can then sue if your priority is current. Can't the spouse of a citizen also receive a visa? Yes, they can, but they're not right now, so they need to join the lawsuit. Hey there, DACA recipient. My I-130 has been pending 2 years, starting January 26. Is it time to sue? At the 2-year mark, I would sue. And your state representative is useless. Call your U.S. senator. Your U.S. senator, David. Can you do something about, can you do AUS having a bar? What bar? I have 2 misdemeanor convictions. One's been dismissed, the other I paid a fine. So you don't have a conviction. You have 1 conviction. You paid a fine. I got my I-130 approved. I have DACA. AWA approved. I live the country. No, the charges are fine. Because you've got DACA, that means you're admissible. I have a reopened case. I have DACA. How can I terminate this case? What is? You have to file a motion to terminate. What's the basis? Do you have an approved I-130? Do you have a spouse petitioning for you? What is there? My wife is in the U.S. I am in Afghanistan. My cause is going but slowly. I'm sad. Yeah, I'm sad too, sir. Join the lawsuit. Hola, abogado. Yo tengo DACA, legal entry. Tengo 2 niños pequeños. ¿Hay alguna forma de poder arreglar mi estatus legal? No, cuando tiene 21 años, tal vez. If they decide to cancel DACA, will they pay us back for all the taxes we paid? No. I want to apply for citizenship, but I have a expunge case 25 years ago. You're scared? Jocelyn, that's exactly when you call a lawyer. That's what we're here for. Llama al abogado por una consulta. This is what we do. We're immigration lawyers. We're here. We help people fix their immigration status. That's what we do. We're experts at it. We've done it for many, many years. In fact, I just got this really cool certificate. I have just been granted by the National Board of Trial Advocacy board certification in immigration law. How cool is that? Brand new thing. All right, so we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I'll be live. It'll be in Spanish, but also, of course, in English, as everybody knows. Estaré en vivo la semana siguiente a la 1 de la tarde, hablando de inmigración en español, and hopefully I'll have more updates on the litigation. And hopefully by then, maybe we'll have DACA news by then. Till then, you guys be careful, be safe, and don't talk to ICE. Talk to you later.